Alright guys, so welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video has been heavily requested, and so I figured it's time we finally do this. We're going to be comparing the brand new Skullcandy Crusher Wireless to the original Skullcandy wired model. As you can see, I have both of them in my hands right now. But before we get into the headphones themselves, we're going to start with the accessory. Okay, so to start off in the difference in the case, they're not really cases, they're pouches, the carrying pouches. You have this very flimsy, it's just enough to keep scratches off the original Skullcandy wired. But in the wireless model, you get a very nice, I guess it's like a nylon material, and it's lined inside with a very soft material so that it's not gonna get scratched. It offers a little more protection, plus it has pouches inside to be able to hold your cables. Now, speaking of cables, the wired model comes with a simple, just kind of a rubbery type material cable. It's nothing special. It does have your click, skip forward, pause, play, all that controls right here on the headphone cable itself. And it is very sturdy. It's nothing you have to worry about breaking. But in the wireless model, just in case you do want to use them wired, they offered a flat cable. Now, I really like the flat cable because it does a better job of not getting tangled up. It also has a clicker for your play, pause, and skip, and it has a microphone on the end. They both offer being able to answer calls in wired mode. The Skullcandy Wireless also comes with your micro USB cable so that you can keep them charged. Now, the wireless model uses an internal battery, which gives you 40 hours of battery life. As to where on the wired model, you actually have to put one AA battery inside. There's no charging unless you get rechargeable batteries. And I'm not really sure what the battery life was on this. It does get quite a bit, but the fact that you have to buy batteries is kind of an inconvenience, especially when you can just charge the wireless model. Okay, so now that we got accessories out of the way, we're going to look at the headphones themselves. Now, as you can tell, there is a significant design difference in both of them. They are both over-the-ear headphones, but the huge difference is in the build quality. Let's go ahead and start with the wired model. It is a plastic build all around, even in the extenders. All of that is plastic. They do fold flat, which is a huge plus because that's the only way you're gonna fit them in that bag. And it also helps it become more portable. Okay, so on the Crusher Wireless, you also have an extender, but these are metal and they are very, very tough. It gives an overall more hefty feel to these. It feels a lot more durable. And also these fold down to pretty much nothing. If you compare them next to each other, they're about the same size. I would say that the Crusher Wireless is actually a bit smaller. Okay, so on the headband itself is a rubber material. The ear cups, it's not really leather they're going for. It has kind of a rubber feel. It is extremely comfortable. I'm not gonna knock that, but it is definitely a different feel when it's on your ears compared to most headphones. As to where on the wireless model, you also have that same material, but they have the groove at the top that's more suited for VR. Both are extremely comfortable on the headband. I felt like the wireless left you feeling it's more unnoticeable that it's on your head. The one thing I have to say that I like the wired version over the wireless is just this one thing. That's it. These cables right here that stick out, just like I've said before, they worry me that at some point they could get caught, and if they rip out, you're kind of screwed. You can't really do anything with them after that. But as far as build quality and durability, definitely goes to the wireless model over the wired. Now, you can bend them, but it makes me so nervous because of this all plastic. It feels like at any point these are going to break. As far as design goes, on the wired model, you have a simple branding of the logo on the side, just Skullcandy at the top, same logo on the bottom, and then color accents that goes on these vents on the bottom, and also trimming around the headphones themselves. Now, if you get the black model, a lot of this is less noticeable because there aren't the highlights of the colors, and it's more of a stealthier look. On the wireless, you only have a simple branding here, but it is a lot less noticeable. There's no branding at the top, just simple leather across the top, which is a very nice touch for Skullcandy. On the ear cups themselves, you can see there's a little bit of design here because the headband comes down into the cup as to where it stops here. Now, the good thing about that is you can see in the wired model, there's a little bit of movement here because of this independent piece. Now, the wireless does not have that. All of its movement is on the cup itself. that doesn't really move much, but the way that these ear cushions are made on these, they conform to your head a lot better than the wired model. So comfort definitely goes to the Crusher Wireless over the wired model. Okay, on to the functionality of these. Now, the wired model, the only controls that you have are on the back left ear cup. That is your bass slider. Now, on the wireless model, you have a microphone up front. That way, if you answer a phone call wirelessly, you're able to take it and not have to have anything plugged into it. Now, on the back, you can see a huge difference. On the back left is, again, your bass slider, and it has a lot more sturdier of a feel. And this one, there is a huge difference in the bass slider, which we again will get into in the sound in a second. But on the back right hand side is where you have your Bluetooth wireless controls. You have your power button in the middle, you have your skip forward, volume up button, and the skip back, and the volume down button on the back right side of your ear cup. All right, how do they sound? Which one's better? Which one is worth, the wired model retails for $99.99. So we're gonna go ahead and say $100. The wireless model retails for $200. So these are twice as much as these. Are they worth it? Let's get into the sound of the wired model, because there is a huge difference in between them. Although you may think that they're both gimmicky with the bass feature, I can promise you there is a huge difference between the two. In the wired model, if you turn the bass slider all the way down, you actually get a really clean sound, not necessarily a fun sound until you start to slide the bass up. But I did notice with these, with the wired model, the only way to really feel the bass is having your device turned up a pretty good bit. And there's certain bass frequencies it doesn't pick up on until it hits a certain level. So even though this has the bass impact feel, if you're not listening to your music loud enough, or if frequencies don't hit certain ranges, the bass impact never comes into play in the wired model. But as far as overall sound, if you listen to it at a very decent volume with the bass impact probably about halfway, again, you have the beauty of controlling it to get it just the amount of bass that you want, and kind of the bass you don't want. Again, once you start to drop it down, it doesn't really play effect anymore. But mid-range is good, highs are good. Overall, this headset is again focused on bass, but because they have dual drivers and a driver that is specifically tuned for bass, it doesn't muddy or affect the rest of the sound. So for $100, I've always recommended these if you're a bass head, and I still recommend these if you are a bass head. But since the release of the wireless, they went ahead and tuned these things completely different. The bass frequencies pick up pretty much at any range and pretty much at any volume. If you don't have to have your headphone at full blast to be able to get the bass impact, you can listen at a low volume and slide the bass up and you're able to feel it. Now, these headphones also pick up at lower frequencies than what the wired does, so you feel a lot more bass in different levels that the wired doesn't pick up on. So these are pretty much night and day difference than the wired model. Some people say, oh, well, it just has that same bass effect, it's got to be the same headphone. That's completely false. The overall range and sound of these is absolutely incredible. Yes, the bass is there, but the mids are fantastic, highs are fantastic. This is easily one of my favorite headphones ever, and that compares to tons of headphones that I've tried throughout the years. But as far as Bluetooth headphones go, these are my absolute favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what they look like put on, because there is a huge difference between the two there. The wired model has a very different look. It sticks out a little bit here because of the drivers and the way that they designed them. But when you look at the wireless model, they kind of flow more down to your head. It has a lower profile look. I say that this actually has a luxurious look to it compared to the original ones. And also that's again even comparing it to the black ones. This just has more of a premium feel, has more of a premium look, and it also has more of a premium sound. If you're asking yourself, is the extra $100 worth it? I can easily say without a doubt it is. Even if you want to compare design, the wireless wins. If you want to compare the durability, the wireless wins. Functionality, obviously the wireless wins. Sound, the wireless blows the wired model out of the water. And even though, again, I still highly recommend the wired model, they just don't compare to the wireless model at all. So this is an easy win for the wireless. and an easy win for Skullcandy because they keep going in a positive direction. Their products are getting more and more incredible. They're paying a lot of attention to detail, and it seems that are actually listening to their audience. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Thank you guys for all the support on all the other videos, and as always guys, make sure to stay tuned for more.